In the NFC South, I kind of highly doubt it, though. Here are the standings. The Bucs coming off their first loss of the season. The Falcons technically second in the standing, but 0-2 in the division. Panthers' only win came in a shutout over the aforementioned Atlanta. And then there's the 0-4 Saints. Guys, still with us here. Bucs, let's start with some positivity. John, what's the score for Tampa Bay?
I'm going to give the Bucs an A-. They're 3-1. They've been oppressive. The slow starts are a little bit unnerving. They need to get that fixed. But I think the defense has really been underrated. They're one of just two teams in the NFL this year that has given up fewer than 190 passing yards per game and under 90 rushing yards per game. The Browns are the other ones. The Buccaneers defense has been better than advertised, and Baker Mayfield somehow always finds a way to win games for this team. So an A- for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Sounds like Ryan agrees, and you mentioned finding a way. They're the first team in the Super Bowl era to record a game-winning score in the final minute of the fourth quarter in each of its first 3 games of the season. One of those tight wins came week 1 against the Falcons. Ryan, they've had some big highs, some low lows, so what's the grade?
Yeah, B-. The low lows involve getting absolutely stumped by the Panthers 2 weeks ago. But they've beaten the Vikings and they've beaten the Commanders. And I feel pretty good about their prospects, given the way that Michael Penix Jr. is playing. They've drafted incredibly well on that defense. And that defense is much better than it has been in recent years in terms of pressuring the quarterback. So I feel pretty good about their prospects going forward. Get the week off this week, and then we'll get their real true test in week 6 on Monday Night Football against the Bills. I have them at a B-, though, through the first month.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm a little bit more down on them. I'm giving them a C. You mentioned the win over the Vikings, over the Commanders. Well, the Vikings game was J.J. McCarthy's second career start. The Commanders game, Jaden Daniels didn't even play, so I'm not sure how much I can credit them for either of those wins. I just need to see more from Michael Penix. I'm just not sure if I trust him yet, so I'm giving the Falcons a C through the first 4 weeks.
Ryan, I know you wanted to shout out our producer James and his favorite team, the Panthers, so go ahead. Deliver the news. What's the grade?
Hey, the news is better than I thought. I didn't give him an F. I actually gave him a C-, in part because of the big win over the aforementioned Atlanta Falcons. Also, I'm a huge Bryce Young homer, and I, fingers crossed, hope he works it out. Maybe it'll be a Mac Jones situation 3 or 4 years from now. But there are very few reasons for optimism with Carolina. Dave Canales, I think he's the guy, but we still don't know. Bryce Young, I think he's the guy, but he continues to struggle week in and week out. He's gotten incrementally better, but certainly not better enough where you feel good about him as the first overall pick. You could argue that he played better than C.J. Stroud for stretches this season. Texans aren't very good either, so I gave him a C-, but that's a C- trying to be as sunshiny and rosy as possible.
Yeah, I don't know if there are maybe some threats that James delivered your way to make sure that that wasn't an F, but there's still one more team left in this division. John, the Saints. What's the grade?
The grade is not an F, guys.
Hey.
Surprisingly, I'm going to give them a D+. I know they are 0-4, but guess what? I expected the Saints to be 0-4 at this point, so they're kind of living up to expectations if you think about it. If you look at what they've done throughout the season, they've actually played competitive football. They played 1-score games with the Cardinals and 49ers in the first 2 weeks. They were going toe-to-toe with the Bills and gave Buffalo a scare in week 4 before the Bills kind of ran away with it in the fourth quarter. So I think they have played a little bit better than most people have thought. But, of course, they are winless, and I'm not sure how many games they are going to win. This week's game against the Giants might be their best shot for the rest of the season. But to me, I just think they are slightly overachieving compared to what I thought they were going to look like. So I'm going to give them a D+, even though they're 0-4.
I'm with you, John. I gave him a D. Not any wins in real life, Emily. A lot of moral victories, so you can build on that. Spencer Rattler isn't playing poorly. He has just 1 turnover, 1 interception through 4 games. He's playing pretty well. There's just not a lot around him. Taysom Hill's been out, obviously. Chris Olave is making his case as a legit number 1. And after that, things get a little scarce in terms of passing game. So who knows if they win the Jackson Dart Bowl this weekend? Fingers crossed. You hope they do, because Spencer Rattler's 0-10 in his NFL career. But I think John's right. They could lose a lot more than they win, but there are reasons to squint and be a little happy with how things have gone thus far.
Fellas, I appreciate it. And if you want to watch the Saints try and win a football game, Vegas agrees with you, John. They think this is their best shot of the season so far. New Orleans, the favorite, hosting the Giants. Also, we got Panthers, underdogs at home to the Dolphins. That's hard to look at. And we've got the Bucs Seahawks Sunday afternoon on CBS.